Some of the time I think the time has flown by, and
other times it's something I can't stop thinking about.
Two brothers, Brock and Elliot Mealer. Their lives ripped apart in an instant. But somehow, together, they found a way to heal in a place they never imagined. Growing up in Wauseon, Ohio, Brock and Elliot, along with oldest brother Blake, were raised as diehard Ohio State football fans.
my little kid brother, back then he was always saying he's going to play college football.
But it was Brock who became the first Mealer to attend Ohio State in 2004. Elliot, a standout high school lineman, was on track to join him in Columbus. But during the college recruiting process, Elliot had a sudden change of heart and accepted a scholarship with the Buckeyes' most bitter rivals, Michigan.
I got up here and I fell in love with everything. I just loved it, and I don't know why it clicked with me, but it did.
That Christmas Eve, the Mealers went to a party in a neighboring town. Elliot's girlfriend, Hollis Rieker, was with them. They left the party around 9 o'clock and began the drive back to Wauseon to attend midnight mass.
It was my dad, my brother Brock was in the front seat, and my mom was in the back seat. I was in the back middle, and Hollis was on my right in the back seat. She had fallen asleep on my shoulder.
At 9:35 p.m., their father David drove towards this intersection. At the same time, a 90-year-old man ran through this stop sign.
It basically T-boned our car, and I just remember us spinning around 180 degrees and then feeling the force of the car to start to turn on its side.
The Mealers' SUV flipped and landed on the passenger side. Elliot escaped out the rear door with his mother. His girlfriend Hollis was thrown from the car. His father and Brock were trapped inside.
My mom, told me to come over and help her push open this window. We got to get Brock out.
I remember seeing Elliot take the window, just pulling it right out of the socket. Then the next thing I knew, he ripped his shoulder, and then it was all over.
Elliot had torn his rotator cuff. Despite all of his efforts, he could not free his brother from the wreckage. He had to wait for an emergency crew to arrive and rescue Brock. Elliot's girlfriend Hollis, 17, and their father David, 50, were pronounced dead at the scene. Brock had severe damage to his spine. Doctors warned him that he may never walk again.
I just remember shouting out to God. I was just like, oh my God, don't let this be, my future.
Brock would need extensive rehabilitation at one of the country's top spinal cord care facilities.
They said, look, we can take him out to Colorado, we can take him, to Florida, or we can take him to Ann Arbor. These are your choices. And right away we were like, wow, Michigan's an option?
Feet okay?
Yeah.
Brock began rehabbing at the University of Michigan Medical Center in January of 2008. A few weeks later, Elliot joined him there to have shoulder surgery. At the 2009 home opener, with his brother Brock in the stands to support him, Elliot finally made his college football debut. On October 1st, 2009, Brock's health insurance company informed him that he had reached his limit for rehab sessions. The Michigan strength and conditioning staff, which had grown close to the entire Mealer family,
last one, deep.
offered to take over his therapy.
There you go.
I could see his determination. I had never seen someone so positive in such a tragic situation with such a great attitude.
Uh-huh.
And knowing his attitude, I think, well, let's give him some kind of goal.
He said, Brock, how would you feel about setting the goal of leading the team out for the opener this fall against UConn? When he asked me to do that, I don't know, was for a while just kind of in disbelief, like, you know, is this really happening?
September 4th, 2010. Brock Mealer, almost 3 years after the accident, made his way to the field.